Next up is Barbara Becker. She writes the blog Last Year to Live, and she also writes at Huffington Post. She's a professional human rights activist, a professor, and a New York City mom of 2. She's hard at work on her first book, Every Day Matters, My Year of Living as If It Were My Last. Later, you can follow her on Twitter at Equal Shot, but right now you could help me in welcoming her as she reads The Swastika in Our Neighborhood.
Across the nation, anti-Semitic bias cases have been capturing news headlines. Earlier this year, 2 men from Farmington, New Mexico were sentenced to time in federal prison for branding a swastika into the arm of a Navajo man with mental disabilities. Swastikas were graffitied on storefronts and homes across the New York metropolitan area, and a teenager has been charged with throwing Molotov cocktails at a synagogue in New Jersey, igniting a fire in the residence of the rabbi and his family. The recent rash and anti-Semitic incidents prompted many leaders to talk about the need to speak up and condemn these vulgar crimes and to respond forcefully. But how do you respond to bias when you're with your own child and the crime is in your own neighborhood? I was recently faced with this question while walking with my 8-year-old son down a street near our home in downtown Manhattan. He was the first to spot it, a purple swastika scrawled across the forehead of a man on a billboard advertising a cruise line. "Isn't that a swastika?" he said. "Yes, it definitely is," I said, nodding. "Where have you seen one before?" "Raiders of the Lost Ark," he said. I was quickly taking in the complexities of the situation and what to say next when he said sadly, "The person who did that hates me, and he doesn't even know me." You don't have to be raising a Jewish child to understand the heartbreak in those words. As I took his hand and we continued on the way home, I told him a story of my own understanding of the swastika and what it stands for. I told him about how confused I felt when I first saw an ancient swastika carved on a temple in Thailand in my post-college backpacking days, and how the symbol, which originally had positive sacred meanings in Hindu, Buddhist, and other traditions, was turned on its side literally by the Nazis and became a mark of Aryan supremacy. This led to a discussion of Hitler's view of a master race, which is pretty tough to explain to a blonde-haired, blue-eyed Jewish child who a friend fondly refers to as the Jewish Viking. I was careful not to alarm him, but I wanted to be accurate and honest. I am admittedly not a historian nor an expert on current-day hate symbols, but we seldom wear our professional hats when talking to our children anyhow. What I began to see was that he needed to have a sense of control over what he had just seen. My telling him I was going to call the city's 311 hotline to report it wasn't going to be enough. "So what do you want to do about this?" I asked. "Let's get a can of black spray paint and cover it over," he said. That might feel good," I said, "but then we'd be destroying something that doesn't belong to us." "We could put something good over it," he said thoughtfully. I couldn't imagine what that might be, but listened anyhow. Sometimes a child's internal compass points to their own true north, and it's best for us adults to just get out of their way. Armed with colored paper and markers, he came up with this, which I lifted him up to tape on the billboard the following day. Clearly, this is just a beginning. Anti-Semitic acts will not vanish overnight, and our conversations and responses will evolve with each passing day. But the important thing is to keep talking and to always, always respond. Thank you.